hitting the set button now. Oh wow, I've taken my foot fully off the throttle and I'm currently doing 55 miles an hour. Good morning, so we're inside the 1994 Jaguar XJ40. You may recall from recent videos and references that we did a successful 1800 mile trip down to the southeast of France. But before the trip, when I was doing a shakedown test, I took the car on maybe a 50-mile journey, and I noticed on the motorway, the M1 motorway, that the cruise control wasn't engaging. I thought it would be a good idea just to do a little bit of troubleshooting for the cruise control. I wanted to just quickly provide a bit of an overview of the cruise control system as it's fitted to this 1994 XJ6 Sovereign. If I come round over to here on the driver's side, down here you can see the cruise control switch. There we go. So it's called speed control on here. This switch has the on, the off position, on, and the resume, and it also has a button here to set the actual speed. And then when you reach your desired speed, your desired cruising speed, you should be able to just hit the set button, and then you'll just feel the cruise control system take over. You can take your foot off the accelerator and happily drive along using the cruise control system. The first thing to do in terms of troubleshooting though is to switch the ignition to position 2, so you can see all the lights have just come up on the dash here. And what I'll be looking to do is just literally hit the on position and then just see if there's a light there. There's a very, very faint light. If I switch off, it's gone. If I switch on, it's definitely there. So it probably rules out one of the first things in terms of cruise control troubleshooting, and that is a failure of the fuse. Now on the 1994 XJ40 is fuse number 5 in here, and just to access the box here, it's usually quite straightforward. Just gently prise with the screwdriver, that loosens it, and then you should just be able to flip up, and then this removes, and here you can see all of the fuses here. 5, here we go. So it is going to be definitely going to be that one. So if we've ruled out any issues with the fuse, and we've got a light glowing with the switch, then the other thing to quickly check is the cruise control electronic control unit, which is located behind this panel here. Now, spoiler alert, I've already checked, and what I was really looking for was any wiring issues or any evidence of water ingress. So all I did was, there's a couple of screws to remove. There's one there, little posi drive head on that one, there's another one here, and then there's another one just here. Screw them off, and there's a little clip that just holds it securely on here. Push it out, and then this whole panel actually comes off and reveals a whole number of stacked control units. There is a series of pin tests that could be performed to check for continuity. I haven't actually done them because, and again, another spoiler alert, one of the things I've observed when trying to engage the cruise control is when I press the set button to set the speed, on this particular example, I can feel it trying to take over and then it cuts out. So that suggests that the wiring, we have continuity between the switch and the cruise control electronic control unit. Again, we're looking at the cruise control, so I just want to enumerate a few key components on this particular system. Now, as this is a 1994 model, this will continue to have the vacuum bellows system. So if you look just here, there's your throttle cable, and that just pivots on this mechanism here. Bellows here, and you can see there's a line coming out of that. So this can actually take a vacuum, and so increase the vacuum, you increase the throttle, and that's how this system, you build up a vacuum and you can actually then see the throttle moving, coming all the way down here and then sort of disappearing off under here. we'll probably need to remove the air box just here. I think it's a 10mm nut just holding that in, and also just disconnect the clips here where it hits the mass airflow sensor or the intake pipe. But just down here you can see this is a cruise control actuated pump. So it's actually this pump here that generates and controls the vacuum, and just below that there's actually a dump valve. So the cruise control electronic control unit, which is in the under the dash on the passenger side, it obviously takes a reading from the ABS system to work out the speed, and obviously it's in control of what's going on here with the cruise control vacuum pump or actuated pump here, and also the dump valve. The dump valve obviously just dumps any vacuum that's in there. So if you disengage the cruise control system, for example, the dump valve will dump any vacuum out of the system. So just to recap, the symptoms we've got on this car is when I hit the set button for the cruise control to engage the cruise control system, as soon as you hit the set button, then this little pump will actuate, build a vacuum just to maintain the current throttle position that you may have at the cruising speed that you want to set it at. And I can feel it just engaging, so that it's definitely building some sort of vacuum but then backing off. So the most likely culprit is that we've probably got some sort of leak where the vacuum is being dispersed. Let's release this first. There we go. To make sure they come out. Okay. There you go. So if we just come in here and have a look at this now, we've got the airbox assembly moved. You can see we've got the pipe running from the cruise control bellows, following it all the way down to here, under the little bracket that holds the bottom of the airbox. And you can see that actually there's a bit of a T-junction here. So the vacuum pipe splits out, and one part goes into the dump valve, which is just underneath here, and the other part comes into the vacuum pump, cruise control vacuum pump. And immediately, having looked at this here, I can see we've got some black tape around this, which suggests that this pipe here may well have perished. So let's have a look at removing that and inspecting that a little bit more closely. Okay, so just down here is the end of the dump valve where the hose came out, and there's that little T-junction. I've just moved it above this bracket just for ease. All I did was use a screwdriver just to leverage out this pipe here, which you can see has been munged with some electrical tape, which looks very suspicious. So I'm going to take the tape off and then inspect to see what's going on with this vacuum pipe. So here's the pipe with the tape removed. I'm just focusing on this end that had the tape on, and I'm inspecting it carefully. I'm just squeezing it to see if there's any evidence of a fracture, and sure enough, just here, there you go. If I bend that, you can see immediately that's not going to hold any vacuum. I'm guessing this is possibly the reason why the cruise control system initially engages but then fails to build a vacuum properly and then just disengages. Well, who knew you could still get the vacuum pipe from Jaguar classic parts. So the part number is DBC1153, and it does seem to be new old stock, because if I open up this package, it's a new one. You'd think the one on the left is actually the old one, looking at the quality, but that's what happens, I guess, with rubber when it's in storage. But crucially, despite it being horribly discoloured, there are no splits. What we'll do is we'll come back into the engine bay and we'll look to fit this so that end goes on there and that end goes on there. Now I'm looking at these and it's like flipping out, that does look tight, so I think I may have to use some silicone just to help get that on, because I'm not going to get that on easily otherwise, I don't think. Right, let's try this one first, because that looks a more tricky one. Oh yeah, come on, in you go, there you go. Just a small smear of silicone grease has gone onto this, so that's now connected. So the next thing is just to pop that on here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this cable down under the mounting there, so I get the angle right. So that should be quite happily sitting down here. And now I just need to connect in to move this around a little bit and just connect it onto here. Which again, a little smear of grease and a bit of persuasion. Here are the two little things that slot in there, so I'm just going to be careful. Before I put them in, I'm going to just make sure I can get this lined up okay. So I'm going to put these in first, I think, these little clips. Make sure they're okay. There's one. And there's the other. There we go. And just now push in these little grommetty things. There's one, there's two. Okay. There we go. I'll be honest, those catches, particularly the ones at the bottom, are quite fiddly to do, but if you just take your time with them, they'll eventually go in. I've just secured the last two there, so now I'm just going to finish mounting the air box. Screw, bolt. Feed that on gently by hand to start with. That's just gone out, and I'm going to lightly tighten with the ratchet. Actually get it in. The remaining thing to do is really just to test the system on a bit of a test drive. Okay, let's go for a bit of a test drive. As I recall, I think we need to be doing so 40 kilometers or 40 miles an hour, so I'm going to just accelerate up the hill a little bit. So that's about 50. I'm hitting the set button now. Oh wow, I've taken my foot fully off the throttle and I'm currently doing 55 miles an hour. Let's just see if I can disable that. Pull the switch back, slowing down to 50 miles an hour. Coming around, and now I'm going to try the resume, which I just pull the stalk back again, foot off the gas, starting to accelerate. 55 miles an hour, just over, just backing off. Disengage that quickly. Down to 50 again, pull the stalk back. Car starts accelerating. It's 55 miles an hour again. Yep, bang on 55. Well, I'm pretty pleased with that. Cruise control function seems to be working just fine, so I'm really pleased because that's actually quite a cheap fix. The part that I got, the special vacuum pipe from Jaguar Classic Parts, I think the actual part was around £3.73, and the shipping on top of that, so I think it's less than £7. So Great British pounds, less than £7, and I now have a fully functioning cruise control system. So I guess all it remains to say is thanks very much for watching. I hope you may have found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like, possibly drop a comment below if you have any questions, and I'll do our best to get back to you. Thanks a lot.